Welcome to Holy Fuck. Holy Fuck. Holy Fuck. Two gals on the prowl for enlightenment, sex, and all things holy. Holy Fuck. Each week, beauty alchemist and transformational coach and speaker, Katherine and spiritual healer and life coach, Krista Kim, discuss navigating spiritual consciousness in a real human body. Stumbling through dating, relationships, and everyday life, all while maintaining a fucking sense of humor.
Hey there, Krista.
Hi, baby doll. How's it going?
Good. Should we say our little welcome and then go into our hello, baby doll? How you doing?
Oh, I thought that was the welcome.
Hi, welcome, everyone. We're just learning this podcast stuff. Hello, welcome all our people who are listening. We love you, and we are so grateful that you are here today hanging out with us because we have something to say, and we need someone to listen to it. So thank you.
Yeah, we do. So, yeah, you were just mentioning to me that you have a wedding this weekend.
Yeah, I have a couple weddings. I get to officiate at one, which is really fun, really, really fun.
Wow.
Back to the ministerial job that I sometimes do. Doing ceremonies like that are super fun. And so much loving in the space, and people are so happy and excited. And it's like love blooming all over. So nice. This one's going to be down by the beach. It's going to be gorgeous. And I feel excited. And the other one is I just get to go to another one on the same night afterwards. So,
wow. I don't know how I feel about weddings these days.
I noticed you hesitating about weddings these days.
I was like, gulp. Because I didn't know whether to congratulate you that you got to go to that or to be like, I'm sorry. But
no, I'm happy. I think hope springs eternal, and I think we should all want that to happen. And people are at different stages in their life when they're getting married, and I bless the whole shooting mess of it. And
good. Maybe I'll be there one day too.
Yeah, I think you will. Everybody choosing.
Well, last podcast, I was about to...
Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah. Look, I'm even choking trying to talk about it. Yeah. So I was having a date with somebody, and yeah. But if you remember at the time, what I was kind of panicking about was that I kind of got, not that I got roped into a date, but because that'd be really easy to just,
blame it on the other person. Yeah, Way to go, Krista.
But, it started as like a friendship, and all of a sudden I'm at dinner with somebody, and it was like the lines got a little blurred.
Didn't it have a different beginning?
It did, and I just censored myself.
Okay.
So the truth is...
Woo, we're getting to the truth.
That this gentleman, who I've known for a year, at least seen in certain social circles a couple times, he had reached out to me as a client or a potential client, and just kind of trying to set up an appointment just to see if maybe, we could do some work together. And that felt fine with me. And then over the course of the week, the appointment hadn't quite been fleshed out yet, and we were traveling, and then the next time I see him, we're at a group of people, and they're all going to an event together, and they were all saying, like, you should come along with us. And I was like, well, maybe. And then it kind of just got assumed that I was going to the event with all of them. And so then he reached out to me and said, do you want to grab dinner after the event? And I was like, sure. Thinking like, oh, everyone's going to be at this event. It's more like a friend thing. But his response to me saying yes was like, I could tell just the level of enthusiasm behind it, or in my perception, because I don't know that that's the truth.
Good job, Krista.
Yeah. My perception is that he got excited over us having dinner, and in his excitement, my perceived excitement, I got really nervous because I all of a sudden realized it was a date. It wasn't friends going to dinner. And as we've discussed before, I've really never have dated in my whole life. I mean, I've always been in relationship with men, but I haven't actively done the whole go to dinner, set boundaries, have awkward conversation, escaped the date without having that awkward, are we going to kiss moment. So Friday when we were recording the other podcast, I was freaking out.
Yes. I remember we had to put it on the back burner because you were not ready to talk about it yet. So it's cool that you've had some progress in this department. What do you want to tell us about that, Krista? What's we're going to learn from you today, huh?
Well, I mean, of course I couldn't talk about it yet because the date hadn't happened. And
That's true.
I needed to get to the date to go, okay, does he really think it's a date, or was that just my imagination? So of course we show up, we meet, and the first thing out of the waitress's mouth is, which table would you guys like? And he was like, oh, the most romantic table in the room. And my heart was just like, oh, like, fuck me. Like, I'm so scared. How do I get out?
Or not, please. I'm so scared.
Yeah. And he was just saying that probably because that's part of his personality to just, I don't know. It's
He's
just
sort of debonair.
Yes.
He's sort of debonair, right?
Yes. And so.
Or not.
Or not. So that one comment alone had me freaking because I'm sitting at dinner and I couldn't even really like just be present with the conversation.
Yeah.
Because my mind already leapt from how am I going to get out of this situation without this awkward departure, the kiss, the whole thing. It's like if he wouldn't have said that one sentence, I feel like I could have relaxed and just enjoyed the conversation.
Maybe, but can we be like, just reel this back for a second? You were nervous in the afternoon. And I've noticed that when I'm nervous, I'm already anticipating a negative result. I mean, that's usually what's happening. So I feel scared. And when I feel scared, I'm not really present. I've got a bunch of other things going on. So I think the romantic thing like upped the ante on you, like it made it even more intense. But from what I remember, I think you were already a little bit nervous going into it. Were you not?
Well, part of that is because I've been working hard at creating my ideal scene around what the perfect partnership would be like for me. And
great idea.
I have very specific things on there. And one of the main things that I thought I wanted was a man that's really conscious and who speaks like me and who's in the spiritual world like me, or not even like in the world that he has to work in the world, but just understand the world from a perspective similar to mine. Doesn't have to be exactly mine. Because I've noticed in the past when I've been in a relationship with, it's kind of like religion. It's like if you're Catholic and you really believe you have to be with someone Catholic, then it's going to be hard to be in a long-term relationship with someone who maybe has a completely different belief system, unless you do a lot of work around what that looks like.
Yeah, maybe. I'm not sure. But for you, it feels that way. So that's where you're coming from.
Okay.
Guess, right?
So for me, I've been wanting to call in someone who talks like me and who likes to be in the world
spiritually.
And so I think I got really scared when all of a sudden I'm sitting at dinner and this person is speaking my language.
Oh.
And I was like, oh shit, this is what this looks like. And oh my God, I'm not ready for a relationship. And oh my God. And I was like, yeah, be careful what you ask for, right? Like all of a sudden, I'm not saying he's my guy or the one. I'm just saying he was getting closer to being someone that I could see myself being in relationship with.
Right.
And I fucking freaked out and wanted to run. And I did.
I understand that.
I was like,
hopefully slowly run.
No, I pretty much quickly like bolted afterward. I could not have gotten in my car fast enough.
Did you kiss?
No, we did not kiss.
Oh, phew.
No.
Because I know you didn't want to. That's why I was checking.
Well, and I don't even know if it's that I didn't want to. I mean, he's very attractive. And so it's not like he's not a candidate for that.
Of course.
It's just that it all of a sudden got really real. So anyways, went home and, I like made up a huge story in my head about him, meaning like he was too romantic too soon. He pressured me. He like wanted to kiss. Like I had this whole story that all came forward, I think, to somehow protect me, if that makes any sense.
Protect you from what?
Protect me from having to get into kind of an up-leveled relationship or get into an intimate relationship. Yeah. So as much as I say that I want to be in an intimate relationship. And when I say intimate, I'm not talking sex. I mean, of course, that comes with it at some point, but intimate meaning like share all the details of my life with someone and feel safe and feel good in that.
So what you're saying is you think that you created that protective thing inside you to keep you from getting in something you're not really ready for. Is that what you meant?
Yes.
So you had a reaction to it to kind of push it away because it was too fast, too soon, too much.
I think it was too fast, too soon, too much. And I think ultimately I didn't feel like I was in control.
Oh, yeah. And you prefer to be in control?
I prefer to be in control, apparently.
Is this a pattern in your life? In your relationships?
Yeah. I mean, I like to be the one making the first moves, I think, because then it feels, in my mind, empowered. Whereas I felt with this particular situation, almost like I was being preyed upon. And that has nothing to do with anything he did.
Right.
Said, really.
I get that. Thank you for clarifying that. Yeah, I get it.
He was a perfect gentleman. It was that because it's like there's a catch-22. On the one hand, I want a man who is the man and who takes control and who, makes me feel safe because he knows how to make decisions and can make things happen. And then on the flip side, I don't want that because then I get scared of losing myself.
I think this might be something that some of our listeners might know something about. Maybe ladies and men both have these experiences with how do you care for yourself? And, what's the best avenue for us to deal with when we get these feelings? And when we actually I know you like him and you're friendly and it's just you were maybe a little surprised, maybe a little too fast. Maybe he just was a little more forward than you're used to. And so it took you by surprise. But there's nothing that he did that was in any way inappropriate.
No.
And yet there's a way that you ran away from it. There was something in you. And you're noticing that it has something to do with how you've normally run your relationships. So this is a great place for you to tell us what happened next.
Well, after I made my quick getaway and escaped
Speedy Gonzalez,
yes, which was hilarious because I just jumped in my minivan and wheeled out.
Mama squealing out in her minivan.
Got home and I was literally exhausted and fell right to sleep because it was just emotionally draining trying to, I don't know, all the fear that I had felt all day long. I didn't realize how draining that was on me. And then I woke up the next morning to a text from him checking in, of course, saying thanks for going to dinner and all of that. And kind of alluding to just wished he would have gotten a sexy kiss. And I was like,
Universe is really lining him up for you now.
For
romantic,
sure.
Now a sexy kiss because you ran away in your minivan.
Yes, exactly. So right away, I replied with a very sweet text, but definitely a text of I am not ready for relationship. I ran and I mean, basically I was saying I just need this year to find myself and I want to take everything slow and I don't want to be tied down to one person and just the thought of even getting involved in sexual relationships even just feels too intense at the moment. And he was very lovely and received it well. And so that was all fine. We ended it with okay, well, it'd be great to continue getting to know each other as friends.
Great, Krista. So you did a really great job of expressing what was really true for you in the moment. And it's amazing. People say, oh, you can't do this and you can't do that on text. But have you ever noticed that energy is what goes through a text?
Definitely. And I feel like I was very conscious in the words I used and delicate tone, and I made it all about me. It was nothing about him.
Excellent. Yeah.
The only thing I did say is that I felt a little pressured. Mm-hmm. And the pressure came from, and I didn't explain this in the text, but because it leapt into that romantic dinner space right away, it took it into a place I wasn't ready for yet. And so I basically closed up. So now cut to a day after that where I'm really starting to think about things. And I felt all of a sudden by setting my boundary and really being honest with where I'm at, I felt safe again.
Yeah.
Which is important for me.
For everybody. We need to do that.
But once I felt safe, I started realizing, oh my God, I got scared and I ran.
It's so cute, though. Like you could make a little cartoon out of it.
Well,
you could just like drop in little emojis of hearts coming, then Krista running to her van and jumping in and driving away.
Yeah, because I started looking at my ideal scene. I was like, well, he kind of can check off a lot of the boxes. No, I don't know him that well. So it's not like I'm saying he's the ideal man for me. It was like he was coming into that territory that I think I want. And in that was like, oh shit, am I ready for this? So once I realized that's part of myself was kind of getting scared, of course, called you and said, look what I did. I just ran that shit crazy away from something that could potentially be good.
You know, Krista, it's just so great. It's so great to have a bigger perspective on life, to be able to reflect on ourselves. And this is really what we're trying to bring in this podcast is like, yeah, you know, men and women and relationships and stuff, we can blame each other for these things. He was too forward. He came on too strong. And instead, it's like your ability to self-reflect here gives you a lot of space to learn about yourself instead of wondering or making up stories about him. You know, the minute you let him off the hook for being too romantic or too something, and you're like, wow, he's actually closer to what I want than I thought. And what's going on for me here? Of course, that's why you want this time with yourself to have those thoughts. Not for the perfect man to show up, but for you to find inside yourself what the perfect man feels like to you, right?
And then to really look at the place inside of me that just say he's not the right guy for me. But in the future, when the right guy does present itself, it's like, what is that bringing up for me? Mm-hmm. Am I going to run again? Or am I worthy? Can I?
What would be the stories you would tell yourself about that?
About what? Am I worthy? Or
if the right man shows up, what would it be like inside you if you saw him walking towards you? You had kind of an encounter with somebody who felt similar to the right man a few weeks ago, didn't you?
I did. It was very bubbly and easy, but you know the difference is
what?
Well, one, he lives out of town, so there was definitely like the built-in buffer.
Oh, nice.
Of like,
nice catch.
Oh, even if this was something, he's leaving. He's going back in like 2 hours. So it didn't feel as intense or that it was going to be able to move too quickly.
Mm-hmm. Good
so
catch.
If there was going to be any future, it would be on the slow path, which felt right in alignment with where I'm at. Whereas this one feels like he's right here. I'm going to see him often. There's the potential for me to dive in too quickly because the truth is, I love being in love.
Me too.
I love it. And so, but my tendency is then to fall in love a lot because it feels good. Very easy for me to just open my heart, huge right now, and allow this person to just come in and swoop me off my feet. And I could be right back in a relationship by next week. And I could be having sex and snuggling and having dates and doing all of that stuff. But it's like too fast, or I don't know. I don't want to do it this. I don't want to do it this way this time. Meaning, I want to be conscious in how I move forward instead of just allowing that romantic side of myself to just get swept away. And all of a sudden, I'm in a relationship 2 years later and don't know how I got there.
I so get that. You know, a few weeks ago we were talking about the role of sex in this too, and how sex can become really enticing and inviting, and it can feel like when the oxytocin hits us, like we're madly in love, and we don't even know who we're sitting across the table from yet. You know, it's like, oh, what are your values? I don't really care. Let's just go have sex again. Or
that part that goes, oh, let's just go have sex. I think for me is the part. It's almost like easier to go have sex with someone than it is to get emotionally into them, right?
Yes, I think a lot of people are like that.
Yeah, for sure. I could go fuck this guy tomorrow and it could be amazing.
You should just be a little blunt
awesome.
about it.
Well, yeah, okay. Like, I'm going to keep it in the fucking category because that keeps my heart safe.
I see. I see what you're saying.
So I could go do that.
You're not having any intimacy with it.
Right. I can go do that tomorrow. It can be a biological thing.
So it's not a holy fuck.
No.
It's just a
fuck.
Down and dirty fuck.
Like, right. So I could do that.
Well, thank you for distinguishing those for us.
Feel like that would be then putting him in a category for the future of just the fucking category. Because
it's a big long list.
So, did you say a long list?
I said, is there a long list in the fucking category?
No, not yet.
Okay. Just checking.
But if there's someone who has potential relationship, if they could be a potential match, then to jump into that fucking stage, it kind of, I think, cuts.
I'm going to laugh every time you say that.
It cuts me off from ever having a future with that person.
Really? That's so funny. I don't have that. I can have a future with someone that I just like fall in bed with in a funny or wild night or something like that. I can have a future with them. That's happened to me before. But I hear in this case is how this felt.
In this
for
case,
sure.
I feel like I should hold out to really develop the friendship and the relationship more, because I feel like if and when we do move into that intimate category, I have a feeling it could be pretty mind-blowing.
Oh, well, for sure. It's not going to be mind-blowing when it's, as you call, just the fuck category.
Right, exactly.
Maybe that's what is it? What the fuck category instead of holy fuck category.
Yeah, so he seems like the type of person that maybe I could have the holy fuck with. And so,
ooh.
Wait, that's a good thing, right?
It is. Oh, God. Okay.
Did that surprise you?
It did. Yeah. But anyway, so he seems like the kind of person.
Okay, but hold on, let me go back. Like the holy fuck category, meaning like I don't necessarily know about the relationship part of it, but I feel like the actual experience, the sexual experience has the potential to be very conscious and loving and of the more divine holy fuckness.
Okay. So now we have three categories.
Oh, yeah.
Now we have three categories. So we have what the fuck, which is just have sex. Like, what the fuck? Let's have sex. Okay. Then we have holy fuck, which is the sanctified, like you have an experience of God and man together, right? And and then you were alluding to a third category, which is having sex during relationships and having relationships with people. And then growing into that, like that would be more where you'd want to find out what someone's values are and whether you want to marry them and whether you want to have kids with them or depending on your age. I'm not would we like to have grandchildren together? It's gross when you think about it that way. But anyway, no, not gross. Sorry, I said that. But anyway, it's funny. So we have three categories now that you have characterized. So we have planted this human being in the middle category for the moment. Because you don't know anything about his values or what he wants in life or what his dreams are or what his hopes are.
And I'm not ready to put him in the grandpa fuck category.
Oh, and by the way, I have a big no to that too. I have an age range that's very specific around me.
Yes, as do I.
Okay, good. And we're not revealing those today, by the way, so you'll have to wait until the sweepstakes.
Okay. I
don't know what it is, but we'll come up with one later.
So anyways.
Okay, where'd we go?
Because he's in the holy fuck category, and I do see the potential to have a very beautiful sexual relationship with him, I'm seeing that I'm just putting the brakes on everything and just slowing back the speed. And since I noticed that I ran very quickly from him and I had projected a lot of stuff onto him about too fast and too romantic and all that stuff, I actually texted him and invited him to coffee.
Nice.
And I did that because I felt like I needed to clean up the energy. I didn't feel good that I had reacted. I don't know what the right word is. I just reacted. Yeah, I reacted.
Responding, you reacted.
And so he was very gracious and we went to coffee and the energy was completely completely different. And the
I
reason,
wonder where that started, Krista.
well, let me tell you, Katherine, I think it started because I set my boundary with him. I made it very clear, like, I want to be friends. I want to develop a friendship, and I respect him and I'm interested in him, but I need to take it slow. And I made that clear. And because he received that information, it all of a sudden took the, I don't know, that predator energy off of me. It like, I don't know.
I think you just said something really important. Can I remark on it?
Yeah. Are you going to talk about the predator energy?
No.
Okay. Go ahead.
See, what I was going to talk about was what you said right before that, which was really powerful. And I wanted everybody to really focus on it. You said something you needed to say, and he heard you. And he responded appropriately. You said, I need more space. I need you to take a step back. I need to feel safe. You didn't use the words, I need to feel safe, but I think he got it.
Yeah.
And I think one of the things that you were calling in was with a person who you've asked for to be in relationship with, who is in the mode that you're in. You're asking for someone who can be sensitive to what it is you're saying so that you do feel safe. So the second he said, got it, and you could feel his energy get really clearly like, I'm not coming in after you. I get what you're saying. Your whole body relaxed. The energy in the energy field around you changed completely, and the predator energy came off. And it doesn't matter where that predator energy was. For you, it was real. When he could hear you and respond to you.
Yeah, because I want to be clear.
Free.
He wasn't a
no, of course not.
It was.
He's a lovely person.
Yeah, it was my.
It was the predator on you.
Yes, yeah. So I just want to be clear because I would never want him to hear this and think that I thought that of him, because that's just not the truth. So we went to coffee, and I was able to just really laugh at myself with him. In that, even if he, like at coffee, if he would compliment me and he would say like, oh, you look so beautiful right now. And I was literally like a giggling high school girl, like, there you go again. And it was like, he's like, oh, you're so embarrassed. So we were able to we were able to move the energy into a playful place instead of it being in a sexual place.
That's really nice.
And I also want to bring it full circle in that he really, during coffee, was asking me about my career and my work, and he was wanting to learn more about it. It kind of brought it full circle to where we started a couple of weeks ago with when he asked to have a session with me. And so I know you and I have talked about this. It's like, that's where it got confusing for me.
Yeah.
That's where the boundary got weird, because it started with a work inquiry, then it moved into a group friend activity, which quickly moved into what I thought was a solo friend activity, right into I'm sitting in there having a romantic dinner.
Right.
And I felt as if I had allowed myself to get into a situation where like I didn't have control, or like I actually felt like I had gotten manipulated in some way. And I'm not saying he manipulated me. I'm just saying that the boundaries kind of smeared together and something happened to me without me really understanding it until it was too late.
Yeah. And I think you just alluded to something really important, Krista. You got scared. That's what happens, and it can happen in an instant. And I think whenever we're dating or with anyone that we're getting to know, can suddenly feel scared. And if we can say something like, oh my God, I just got scared, even if you don't know how, like that is where some of what Krista and I are talking about with you guys is like this whole idea of how authentic can we be, and how much aliveness, how much excitement, how much love, how much caring for other people and ourselves shows up when we can just say, I just got scared. I don't even know why. And then you can laugh about it and you're like, oh, I think I felt like you were getting too close. Can you just take a step back? And you can lighten it up. It doesn't have to be this big, deep spiritual conversation, And I just really appreciate that. It's not easy in the moment to say, and it's not even easy to catch that it's happening. It doesn't even matter how you get there, but sometimes if you can just say those words, I feel scared.
Yeah, and I was just like, I think I was laughing at myself because I even threw it out to them. I'm like, oh my God, I just feel so awkward right now. I just voiced exactly what I was feeling. Of course, for him, that was probably even more endearing because I'm letting him know exactly where I'm feeling in the moment. and
Cool.
instead of keeping him on the outside of that. So there was definitely a moment where I was like, I got to start checking my time. Like I'm feeling like I've hit my max for coffee chat and not because of him or that the coffee chat wasn't good. It was just almost like, if you do a workout, you get to the end of your workout and you're like, and I'm done. I've hit my max of how much my muscles can work. Well,
Okay. Can I say something?
You can, but let me finish this one sentence.
Okay.
In
Sorry.
the dating world, I think I hit my max, my emotional, heart expansive max. I can handle coffee like that amount of time. And then I'm like, okay, now I need to retreat a little bit and go rest. And you make out.
I thought you just said, and you make out.
Oh, no. And you
really?
may go.
So what I wanted to notice there out loud while you were talking is, I love that you were noticing and you started looking at your watch and you were like, ooh, I gotta go. I'm maxed out here. And what I was aware of, which was really funny, is the second you become authentic, it becomes intimate. So you're trying to keep him away. Mm-hmm. And then you say something authentic, and then he's right in there with you.
Oh, absolutely. Because then he's like, oh my God, you're so cute when you're awkward.
Right. And he's like, oh my God, she let me in. Oh my God, I'm in. It's like, it's suddenly totally intimate. And then you're like, I gotta go. And I'm just like, and there she goes back to the van and she peels out of the parking lot. But it's so cute and loving how all of us do that. It's like, what's hard to be with is when we pretend we're not scared when we're scared. So we're like, when we start getting all officious, and maybe how it was for you at dinner the other night when you weren't present, you were a little tight, and he was like, yeah, that's with this chick tonight. She's really different than she was last time. I mean, who hasn't had that experience where you love this guy you meet somewhere, a party or at work or something, and then he asks you out and you're like, what? And by the time you get on the date, you're like someone else. You're not even yourself. You've opened your body, you've let yourself float out into the universe, and you're showing up with, what Cosmopolitan tells you should be on a date, right? Or anything like that. And so you just dropping into, I feel scared, or whichever words you chose, it's so amazing. It's like, and then all of a sudden it was more intimate than you ever wanted it to be, but it was fine because you were creating it.
And I felt like I was in control of it. Whereas before I felt like, because it had morphed from business to friends to date, like I felt out of control. Like I felt like something was happening to me.
Yeah, I understand.
And that I wasn't able to make proactive decisions. This felt very proactive. I made the coffee. I extended the invite for the coffee date. I chose where we were going to go. I chose the moments to let him in and to soften or when to pull back and when I needed to leave. And I was okay even saying this time, like, yeah, I need to leave because I'm feeling too vulnerable. And like, that's literally what I said. And like, he got it. And the funniest part of the whole thing is that we're walking out. Before I made my peel out getaway, my best friend shows up in the parking lot and she was like, well, hi. And she sees me standing with him and I give the introductions and she's kind of giggly or whatever. I leave. Within like 20 minutes, she's calling me and she's laughing so hard. And she's like, oh my God, he's so perfect for you. I'm laughing at the story you told yourself about him and how fast you're like, she saw it. And then after meeting him, she knew that I had created this whole drama in my head.
Beautiful. Well, it's great that she got a chance to meet him so she could give you that feedback. And what was really fun was I got a chance to meet him a couple nights later too.
Sure did. This is really hilarious. And this could have been an even better podcast. We've not been so honest with each other, but.
Well, the bottom line is, I don't know if you've noticed, but we live in a small town. And we attract the people we attract because we're similar kinds of people. And so I have never met him before. And apparently, as Krista said, she's known him for a year, but it was lovely to meet him. And I knew exactly who he was. And on some level, if music hadn't been so loud and we all hadn't been dancing so crazy, I probably would have said, friend of mine. But in that moment, it just wasn't really appropriate. And we had a sweet connection and he was lovely. And we connected ourselves on Facebook and I went home and it was no bad, no foul. It was really fun. It was sweet to meet him. And then Chris and I appeared on Facebook the next day together. At which point he liked the picture and the cat was out of the bag that we all know each other. So it was very funny the way it came around, but all of it was lovely.
Well, and
right?
remember, on the day, but when I was really terrified of going on the date, I even said to you, maybe he's your guy. Yeah, maybe he's for you because he's a little older than me and he's a little younger than you, but maybe he's your guy. And you're like, well, maybe, I'm open. Even that, I can see now in hindsight was me in such fear that it was like, here, you take him. Like,
yeah. And then when I met him,
yeah.
And you were like, wow, what do you think? And I was like, yeah, I don't think so. I don't think he's my guy.
You said you would go to dinner. I was like, yeah, you totally should if you ask. I was still like, take him because I'm so scared.
I know, but it's very sweet. Yeah. How vulnerable it is to be human and to be dating. And really bottom line is we just want to find the people we like and hang out with them. And I like both of you. So I would hang out with both of you. And it's just, I don't know. I love where it's going for you. I love how you've cleared it up and cleaned it up and gotten to a place inside you where you're back to discovery with him. Like, what is this about for me?
Yeah.
What is this
and ultimately, it's right in line with my goal for myself, which is complete authenticity and no withholding. So withholding meaning I do not want to withhold my truth from anybody. And that doesn't, again, that's not lying. It's that if I'm withholding that I'm scared or withholding that I'm nervous or feeling awkward, I'm withholding a part of my heart from that person. And then they can't serve me because they don't know where I'm at.
Well, you're not really there, right? Because if one part of you is gone, most of you is gone. Like if you're pulled back in some area, the part of you that wants to really, so this is true about engaging with people in life, right? When we're afraid, we don't bring ourselves. And when we don't bring ourselves, nobody gets to know us. And they're like, what's with that girl? She's like, she's kind of weird, right? She's never really herself. But with her friends, she's always normal and they love her. And so they can, have you ever met the woman who always has a lot of friends but doesn't date? And every time she goes on a date, she's so nervous and all of her friends are like, she's the most amazing person. Why isn't she dating? Why, when she goes on a date, for whatever reason in her life, this has happened, she doesn't know how to be authentic and to be yourself. And we just want you girls to know, and you guys to know, that girls go through this. And I'm sure you guys go through it too.
Of course they do. I think it's everybody's like, walking around protecting themselves.
True. But the downside of that is the more we protect ourselves, the less we get to know each other and the less we get to know ourselves. And one of the things that I love more than anything, Krista, is being alive, is that feeling of like, am I really going to say that? Am I really going to tell them how I feel? Mm-hmm. Am I really going to put it on the line?
And it feels so good. I cannot tell you how good it felt to just joke with him about my humanness and my awkwardness. And it was like my energy lifted
so
tenfold.
Much, right? And that's what I mean by aliveness. When I talk about aliveness, it's like your energy just comes alive and your like body's responding. And then we all know the opposite is when we're not telling the truth, our bodies are shriveling. We're like kind of bored. We're sleepy. We can't think of anything to say if we're totally panicked. Right?
Well, you can't think of anything to say because you're too busy thinking of what not to say and what parts I'd say that. So you're so up in your head and you're not being authentic.
Well, and the other thing is when adrenaline takes hold of our system, then we're really not in a good shape anyway, because we can't really think. So all of that to say that when we tell the truth, we have access to our whole self, and our soul shows up with creativity, power, gentleness, love. Who we are, the weirdness that each of us are, gets to come to the surface so we can find out, are we really the right person for each other?
Yeah, stop hiding the weird.
Stop hiding the weird. Is that going to be one of our sayings?
Maybe. I mean, that's when aren't those the people you fall most in love with? The ones who are just weird and let it all rip?
Yeah, weird just is another word for unique, which is what hopefully we all are, right?
Yes, we are.
All right. Well, we've had fun with you today. I hope you guys have had fun with us, and you guys and gals and whoever you are out there.
And I'm sure the saga will continue. I will keep you all updated.
Yeah, I think that's a great thing.
All right.
All right. Lots of love, everyone.
See you next week.
Spread it around. Be real. Bye.
We want to connect with all you lovers of sex, spirituality, and all things holy. But unfortunately, you've got to make the first move, baby. That means heading over to holyfuckpodcast.com to find our new episodes and all the juicy deets about Katherine and Krista. You can also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Holy Fuck Podcast to get up-to-date info on our new episodes and current happenings. And if you are seeking a more one-on-one experience, check out Krista's offerings at KristaKimCoaching.com and visit KatherineMcClellan.com to see what's shaking in Katherine's world. Your spiritual evolution will thank you.